Because the key takeaway here is that there is no one-size-fits-all diet. When we're doing the reset, we list some diets as kind of answers to problems, but we also look at the individual, and we want to make sure we're focusing on those individual needs because every person's body is unique. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Rob Vanbergen and welcome to today's 10-minute training for the Sana Institute. Today we're going to dive into a question that I get asked all the time. What diet works best to resolve chronic pain? It seems like a very big question with some nuanced answers. So if you're a holistic practitioner or even if you're just someone struggling with chronic pain, this video is likely going to help you get a little bit more information. So let's explore the diets that we see out there that are proven to help reduce inflammation, improve healing, and promote long-term relief. Now, chronic pain is linked to systemic inflammation, to poor gut health, and to nutrient deficiencies. So you almost have zero chance of correcting your issues if you are inputting negative things. The good news is that the right diet can help address these root causes. And while there's a bunch of different ones, it's about figuring out as a practitioner which ones work for your individual clients. Now, the first one here is the anti-inflammatory diet. This is a general catch-all that focuses on whole, nutrient-dense foods that naturally fight inflammation. Key foods here include fatty fish like salmon, rich in omega-3s, right? Leafy greens like spinach and kale, which are high in antioxidants. Berries, which are rich in polyphenols. And nuts and seeds, olive oil, so good fat there as well. We even see that tallow and lard, like the natural animal fats, are healthier for you than a lot of these kind of seed oils that you see out there as well. Now, avoiding these inflammatory triggers through these processed foods, through excess sugar and these refined oils, this is just as important as eating the right foods. So generally, when I'm talking to clients, an anti-inflammatory diet is really forming the foundation of what causes them inflammation, what reduces inflammation, and kind of finding that balance. Unfortunately, in the Western world, especially in North America, we have a big focus on processed foods. Lots of preservatives to make things shelf stable for years, lots of sugars to enhance the flavor profile and to make you want to eat it. And this, of course, has the downside of causing inflammation. So when we compare that to the things that we mentioned on those anti-inflammatory food lists, you're not seeing a lot of that in these processed foods. And so you're missing out on these nutrients that are pro-anti-inflammatory, and you're taking in a lot more of these inflammatory triggers. So this is the most common approach. There are other diets, though. And again, I just don't believe that there is a one-size-fits-all diet for everyone. The next one will be the ketogenic diet, so the keto diet. This is another powerful tool as well. This reduces carbohydrates and increases the consumption of healthy fats. And in doing this, the body enters a state called ketosis, where it burns fat for fuel instead of sugar. Now, this actually has been shown to reduce inflammation, and it provides steady energy for healing too. So people that are chronic pain sufferers will find that this diet can help reduce oxidative stress, stabilize blood sugar levels, and even support neurological function. So for patients that are dealing with neuropathic pain or migraines, this can be a great alternative. Now, as far as the keto diet goes, there are so many books on these diets. Like, if you really want to dive into it, you can find these resources in an expanded capacity. One diet I like more than most is the Mediterranean diet. Now, this is a very well-balanced and sustainable approach for pain relief. It emphasizes fresh fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. So olive oil being one of the best, oils, like oil fats you can get. And also looking at these, again, rendered animal fats that are healthier for you than a lot of these seed oils. The diet here, it supports your gut health, which supports the inflammatory process in the body from calming. It prevents it from going out of control. So it's lowering that inflammatory response, and it's providing a lot of key vitamins and minerals that actually help to repair tissues. So if someone's dealing with a lot of these dysfunctions, this can be a great one for them as well. There's also the option of a plant-based diet. And although I will occasionally have plant-based meals, I do find I struggle with eating them exclusively. So this is not necessarily for me, but for some people, this can work wonders in reducing chronic pain. There's often a high intake of fiber and phytonutrients and the antioxidants included in these foods that supports the body's natural detox processes and gut health. But you do have to ensure adequate protein intake and omega-3 sources. You're going to have to get these from things like flax seeds, chia seeds, and algae-based supplements to really make sure you're getting enough nutrients. I have seen plant-based dietary approaches with clients where they look like they're on death's door. And then I've seen athletes that are plant-based completely. So it's all about what you put into it. One of the things I think is often missed with plant-based diets is to expand your variety. You want to kind of just like look at everything that's plant-based, whether it's fruits and vegetables, and kind of bring them into a diet so you're not just consistently eating the same thing. You need the variety of foods. Something that applies a lot with the plant-based diet as well is this idea of eating the rainbow. So eating all these different colored foods as well, making sure your plate has different colors that provides different nutrients and vitamins in it. So I'm also going to kind of talk about like pushing those aside. Let's just talk about the idea of personalized nutrition, because the key takeaway here is that there is no one size fits all diet. When we're doing the reset, we list some diets as kind of answers to problems, but we also look at the individual, and we want to make sure we're focusing on those individual needs because every person's body is unique. As practitioners, we understand this, in the holistic field at least, and we have to focus on bio-individuality. Things like functional lab testing to find out what food allergies are, elimination diets to also isolate those things, and even just food sensitivity tests. This can help pinpoint the best approach for each client. I've mentioned in many of my videos before, I used to have an issue with raw vegetables and fruits. I couldn't eat them. They had to be cooked for me to eat them. And of course, when you cook things, you tend to, depending on your cooking method, lose a lot of the nutrients within them. By growing my own food, I have counteracted that now. But that aside, I was a person that was being told that from all these different holistic practitioners that I need to increase my raw vegetable and fruit intake in order to optimize my health, especially for my liver. And yet, it was counterproductive because it was causing more inflammation in my body. So it's so important to look at what people can consume when building them a diet and optimize that based around their individuality. Okay, so lots of different options here. And really, whether it's anti-inflammatory, keto, Mediterranean, plant-based, whatever it may be, the goal remains the same. Anyone suffering from chronic pain has to be looking at reducing their inflammation, healing the gut, and supporting long-term wellness as a result of that process. So if you're a practitioner, I would highly consider incorporating these individualized dietary approaches into your treatment plans for your clients. Try and look past the fad diet that says it's good for everyone doing this or everyone doing that or everyone dealing with this. You really want to make sure you're looking at that individually. So if you are someone struggling with chronic pain, I highly recommend you connect with one of our certified pain resolution specialists to find the right approach for you. Looking at that individuality is going to help you find the foods that you need to nourish your body and your health and reduce your chronic pain. All right, everyone. So thank you again for joining me. I'll see you next week for another TSI 10-minute training.